No More Heroes is a game where you play as an otaku loser, Travis Touchdown, who in the first game rose to the top of the UAA Assassins rankings because he wanted to have sex. Like No More Heroes 2, I will ignore explaining the first game further to avoid extending time.
Players will skip it. It's so boring.
Travis is once again pulled into the UAA Assassin ranking battles, but this time it's for more than a piece of axe. The CEO of a new corporation and current first-ranked assassin has taken revenge on Travis for something, probably because he's jealous that he's a total manlet and killed Travis's best friend and porn seller, Bishop. Stricken with an urge for revenge, Travis must reach number 1 for the second time and fight insane killers, football meatheads, and the USSR space program in a desperate struggle to kill a rich boy midget.
Travis is kill or be killed.
The majority of gameplay consists of through comboing and dodging enemies in linear levels until you get to the boss fight. To aid in these combos, Travis uses one of 4 different flavored beam katanas, like his iconic Bloodberry that has the best balance of damage and battery charge. The Camellia, a green blade which throughout the game can be upgraded for more power and near endless energy. Rose Nasty, a pair of beam katanas gifted to Travis after Bishop's death that boasts crazy speed but poor energy capacity. And finally the Peony, which although slow deals massive damage and extends as you fill your ecstasy gauge. Speaking of, the UI of the game may look a bit odd. The health and minimap are pretty self-explanatory, but the other elements are not. The previous mentioned ecstasy gauge is the tiger in the lower left that fills when dealing damage and empties when taking damage. As it fills, it extends Travis's combos and when full lets him go sicko mode, gaining invincibility and crazy speeds. Then there's your wacky inflatable penis in the top right, which is your katana's battery. To charge this, you make a suggestive motion in the middle of battle, leaving you open for a time. Travis also has a few finisher moves, one set of these being wrestling suplexes which he learns by reading magazines. The other is a bloody display of power as you cut enemies in half when they are out of HP. When this happens, slot wheels will appear and, if lined up, give Travis a power-up like turning into an invincible tiger, in the event you somehow die. The game has a comeback mechanic where, like when you get knocked down, you button mash to get back up, but only a chance. Outside of combat, there isn't much else to the game. You get a hub map of the town Santa Destroy, which mirrors desolate wastelands such as Los Angeles. Here you can get beam katana upgrades from Naomi, Travis's mechanic whose huge breasts have the jiggliest physics, and level up your damage and health from Ryan through minigames. This game has loads of minigames, by the way, most of them to get money for set upgrades and level ups. The best minigame, and frankly half the game itself, is the cat minigame. Travis is a terrible owner and hasn't taken his cat, Jean, outside for quite a while. This heckin' chonker will now take on its desperate struggle against obesity as you play with it, feed it, and rub its belly. Where was I? Right, the game. The main highlight of this game is its bosses, as this game is pretty much structured as a boss rush. Every single one has a different gimmick and style of fighting, and every one has a banging soundtrack. The best of which being Philistine, which is playing right now. The game has 15 bosses, most of which are fun and engaging in some regard, like Skelter Helter, a revolving revolver-wielding man who serves as the first boss and main tutorial for the game. Vladimir Tektarkov, a USSR cosmonaut stuck out of time that uses a shield to block attacks, throws rocks, and has a satellite blast you from orbit. And Jasper Bat Jr., the main antagonist who has 3
I don't count this one, fuck you.
fun boss phases, combining spam punishing moves and an insta-kill if you're not careful. These are just some of the interesting ones I picked out though, because as fun as the game is, most of the bosses can be summed up as wait for attack, spam hit, they can't be hit anymore, repeat. It makes for a fairly boring setup, but despite this they all have a gimmick to throw a wrench into that formula, like the sniper phase of the Margaret Moonlight fight. That being said, the bosses are fairly straightforward, and even after beating the game and playing through again on the hardest difficulty, they can be pretty easy. No More Heroes 2 is a fun game that, despite having a pretty linear design and relatively flat difficulty curve, is still a great game to play and has a full recommendation from me. It has its bumps, but it's never something that ruins the experience. A very casual hack and slash that you can breeze through in a day or two. The story is also something to look into. For as basic and hollow as it can be sometimes, it has some pretty funny moments and themes. And if you were wondering, yes, Travis does finally get laid.
Downward fucking dog!